Hello and welcome to Chocolate Covered Games. This is our monthly melt for January of 2023. I'm Doug.
And I'm Tim.
So we normally start with our fives.
Yep, and this month you got to choose.
And so I chose our top 5 games that we haven't yet played that we'd like to. So because I picked it, I'm going to let Tim start first.
And from what I understood is they don't have to be games that we've owned, nothing like that. It could just be games that are out there that we want to play.
Correct.
Okay. So my number 5 is a game I mentioned months ago on this channel when we used to do Kickstarters.
Okay.
Or crowdfunding.
Yeah.
Back in the day. And it was a game that I pointed to the camera and yelled at the people angrily about. And it was,
I'm pretty sure I know what this is.
what is it?
Is it called Sweet Mess?
No.
Oh.
No, Sweet Mess I want to play because, I backed it.
Yeah.
This is...
And it'll never come out.
No. I've learned to accept that. Though I do love reading their updates like, oopsie, our bad.
Yeah.
We erased all the files again. Darn us. Bad luck. Now, this is a game that claimed there's no ending.
Okay.
Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, but I forget what it's called.
It's called Mythwind.
Yeah.
Where I even emailed the people and said, how do I know if I won? When does the game end? And they replied to us, it never ends. At that point, I told them it wasn't a game. But I still want to play it just to find an end, take a picture, and send to the creators and be like, I found it. I found the end of the game.
Did you back this?
I did.
Okay. And so we don't have it yet.
No, they're probably 3 years out from because they're trying to figure out how to make the game never end.
Oh.
Kind of thing.
Just always have it revert back to the beginning.
Yep.
Like the song that never ends.
After every third turn, take away half your progress.
Yeah.
You're like, keep going.
Yep.
So that's my number 5, Mythwind.
All right. So my number 5 is a really big game,
Okay.
which it's not normally the type of game we play. This is from Flying Pig Games.
Is this the Gettysburg Army game?
So it's called A Most Fearful Sacrifice.
Yeah.
A Most Fearful Sacrifice.
Okay.
3 days at Gettysburg. The map on this game alone is 15 square feet.
Yep.
Now you don't have to put it all out at once. You can put out different sections. It just looks awesome. The map was, and I'm gonna forget the guy's name.
I
I
don't
don't think it says
now.
it here. The map was hand drawn.
Okay.
And for some reason, Rick Barber's his name sticking in my mind. I've watched so much over this game. It was a game that was out before, went out of print. They brought it back with nicer components for a war game. There's 13 different scenarios in the map. Again, it comes with 2 mounted game maps, which when you put them together makes that 15 square feet.
Yeah.
4 sheets of counters. There's like 350 some counters in this game. Not a game that you think I'd want to play. But man, just because I love Gettysburg, I love the history of the American Civil War, and the maps on these look awesome. And I wish I would have backed it. I did hint at that for a Christmas present, but apparently that was not my Christmas present. You didn't even give me anything for Christmas.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, you got me one game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got me Seven Wonders Architect.
Yeah.
So.
It's a great game.
It is a great game, but it's not that huge.
Well, if they make a human-sized version where you literally buy a pyramid.
Yep. You'll get that.
I got the Arc de Triomphe.
Yeah, there you go.
Nice. That was your number 5?
That was my number 5.
My number 4. is made by the Road to Infinity people.
Okay.
It is a game that is a lot like On Tour, where you're
Oh, yeah.
setting directions.
Yeah, did you know there's like a second version of that?
Yeah, of On Tour.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's On Tour Europe.
Something like that, yeah.
And then they also had On Tour New York.
Yeah.
They're on like their third one.
Huh.
This game is called Globetrotting. It comes with little globes in a plastic case.
Yeah, you showed me this.
Yeah, and then it was part of our crowdfunding segments way
Yeah.
back in the day.
Did you back this?
No,
Oh, okay.
this one I did not back. And you have cards and you're trying to get to locations and you draw in your globe from one point to another, trying to have the most direct route and see the most sights.
Okay.
I don't think it's a game that any of our friends would ever own, so I don't know if I'll ever get to play it. But it's one of those games that might pop up in a store like, Ollie's at
Yeah.
one point.
Yeah. Well, that's like a most fearful sacrifice. Isn't anything
Yeah.
our friends would play. Again, that game won't pop up at like an Ollie's.
Yeah.
But the only place I might be able to play that's like Historicon or one of those, even though that's geared towards miniatures. They do have the other battles. So that was your number
4 was Globetrotting.
Globetrotting. So my number 4. We actually do own a game from this company, and for some reason you won't play it. Even though I keep telling you to, because I think it'd be great content for the channel.
Oh, okay.
So this is called Red, White, and Blue Racing, stock car action game. This is from Play Games, Plaay. And it's a solo game. And you roll the dice.
You got 4 rule books in front of you.
So they're not rule books, but they're scenario books. And you roll the dice. So like one's a 4, one's a 1. I forget which color dice is what. It's a 14. So you look at what 14 does for that certain driver, and it moves them up and back. I think I'd really like this. The games from this company intrigue me. There's History Maker Baseball, where you're simulating games
Sports.
for that season or so with actual players. There's History Maker Golf, which looks awesome. We own Face to the Mat, which is a wrestling game where it's very story driven. And I'd love for Tim to. I got him this game, and because he's creative and loves wrestling, I think the storylines would be awesome.
It would be fun, except every time I sit down and look through it, I'm like, okay, so I roll the die for the baby face. I go to this book, and it says
there's only one book.
No, there's
different pages. So
no, there's 2 books in this, because it's the book where you roll, and then that book tells you what to look in this book. Trust me, I looked through the books.
Yeah, it's fun, and I think you do a good job with the storytelling. Where if we get this, I would definitely do this on the channel as a season with the storytelling and growing, and with the wrestling when you grow your wrestlers. But I'm not much of a solo gamer, but I do think this would be fun. Plus, I love NASCAR, like big time NASCAR. They have like soccer and lacrosse, and there's hockey. There's Canadian football. So even though I'm wearing an Argos championship hat, I can play as the Stampeders, with Doug Flutie. So that's my number 4. Red, White, and Blue stock car action. Red, White, and Blue racing stock car action.
My number 3 is a game that it's a game we could end up playing, because I think this is a game that somebody we would know would have. That's Woodcraft.
Okay, it's not out yet, is it?
I think it's just getting to people now.
Okay.
And that's where, you're making things out of wood. It's dice placement to get the resources, to produce other dice, to get more resources. It looks like that kind of game that, like, it's very Everdale-like.
Yeah.
And that engine building mechanic. I forget who does it, but yeah, Woodcraft.
All right. So my number 3 is a game I actually talked about a very similar game a lot when it was on Kickstarter, trying to get Tim to back it, and he didn't. With the artwork style is the same. But my number 3 is from Weird Games, I believe, WYRD. Weird Miniatures is that the actual company, and it's Vagrant Song.
Okay.
So it's that like 1940s looking cartoon. Vagrant Song cooperative game where you're going through scenarios and you're on a train, I believe, and
Yes.
you're dealing with spirits and trying to get them. You know, some of the actions could remind them that of their lost humanity, things like that. To me, it's I think the artwork and the cool little standees. They're not miniatures.
No.
They're little plastic 2D. To me, they remind me of good old Shrinky Dinks from when I was little. So again, for me, it's the artwork and the theme of you know, helping spirits on a ghost train, basically. So that's my number 3, Vagrant Song.
Okay. My number 2 was a pretty popular game last year,
Okay.
and that is Meadow.
Okay.
Meadows,
Yeah.
I guess.
Meadow. It's Meadow.
Is it? It's one of those games that I look at it and I'm like, this is a game that I could just play based on looks alone.
Yeah.
And then, it has that nature theme, which I always enjoy nature themed games. And, it's another placement game, which I think placement games are my kind of games. Like, for your deck builder, mine is placing things. Because you're like, I gotta figure out what I can do with the resources I have.
Yeah.
I think, outside of abstract, my secondary would be placement. And if there's an abstract placement game, then you're talking. But, yeah, Meadow's big game.
Well,
Sure.
aren't most abstract games placement?
Yeah, there's non-placement abstracts. But yeah, Meadows.
Meadow.
Meadow. I keep on adding S. It's a singular meadow.
Yes.
But yeah, big game last year. Made a lot of people's lists. That was my number 2.
All right. So, with my number 2, it's 2 games.
Okay.
They're the same, but they're different. There's technically 4 games.
Okay. So your list is now 12.
No, they're 4 games. They're the same but different. So I took the 2 with the theme that I liked the most.
Okay.
And it's the Transformer deck building game and G.I. Joe deck building game. So you could also throw the Power Ranger deck building game and My Little Pony, all from Renegade. For me, what sells the Transformers and G.I. Joe one is the IP. I grew up with Transformers, G.I. Joe in the 80s. Love that. And just from everything I've seen, they, even though they're all deck building games, they all play a little different depending on which one you pick. With G.I. Joe, you have the missions, defeating Cobra, and Transformers. I don't remember how each one specifically plays different, but deck building is my go-to mechanic. So having those 2 themed that way, I'm actually surprised I haven't played these yet, but they are definitely on my list that I want to get played. Again, maybe, I don't know if any of our friends have either one of those, but hopefully one day.
And my number one is the only one on the list that we currently own that we haven't played.
Okay.
I wanted to play this one for such a long time. In fact, I even signed up to play it at Gen Con, and I made the mistake of, well, it was our first time at Gen Con, so we wanted to see as much as we could. We walked around everywhere, so the second day, my legs were shot, and we let one of our friends use,
No, on the last day.
our pass, and you guys got to play the game I signed us up for, and that was Rum and Bones.
Oh, Rum and Bones. Yeah. I love that game.
You know, now we own it,
Yeah.
and like most people, games you own, you never play.
True.
That's the thing about this hobby.
True. We have a whole stack here next to me, and we've played 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Well, we played this one, but not our
The
current
copy.
version. Yeah. And, you know, there's a whole stack that we haven't played. We have a whole stack upstairs we haven't played. Yeah,
But-
because why play games you buy?
Yeah, that devalues them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to think about that resale market, which is a big hint for our poll this month.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
But yeah, Rum and Bones,
Yeah.
game I really want to play. We own. One day I'll play it.
Yep. Yeah. The big thing with that is going through the rule book. It's a big rule
That's
book.
a lot of things for games.
Yeah, but it's a bigger rule book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and now that we have our bigger table here where we're at, that's when we can set up and let set up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I could have put. I didn't even think about putting Mass of Darkness 2 on my list because we own that and we haven't played it.
Yep.
Yeah, Rum and Bones. Really enjoyed that game. We only have the base setup. I didn't get any of the other stuff.
Base that's good.
Yeah.
That was my top 5 for the month.
Yep. So my number one is from Green Feet Games,
Okay.
and one of my top 10 games of all time. I think it's in my top 10 games of all time. Is very, very, very similar to this.
Okay.
It's a 2-player only game.
Okay.
It's one of my favorite games is Seven Wonders Duel.
Okay.
And this is very similar. It's Unforgiven, the Lincoln assassination trial. Again, it has that tug of war mechanic for the win. It's got set collecting. So it's very, very similar to Seven Wonders Duel. But what sells this for me, again, is the theme. Lincoln assassination trial. So you're looking at the end of that Civil War, the Reconstruction period of the U.S. I love history, and considering Seven Wonders Duel is one of my favorite games, and this is so similar, just automatically made it one of my top games that I haven't played that I want to. This one I don't know if any of our friends would own it. We don't have a lot of friends that just play 2-player games.
Yeah.
And again, it's not really a convention game,
No.
but if I see it at a convention, because we do play so many 2-player games, it would be one that I definitely pull off the shelf. So, with that, that's our 5s. Do you have any games that,
You haven't played that you really want to.
yeah, everybody has that, you know, especially considering our hobby is so much cult of the new.
Yep.
You know, and you can't play everything that comes out. So,
It's true. One of the games I almost put on my list was an old game, but I thought, why would I want that? Like, I almost put it on the Queen's Gambit,
yeah,
the Star Wars game, because everybody's like, this was the greatest Star Wars game.
yeah,
And, you know, it's super hard to find, but I thought, I'm not a big Star Wars fan. It's super old. There's better games. I'm like, eh.
yeah. Well, and that's like, for me, something like, what is it, Championship Motor Racing, I think it's called. To me, looks like a cool old game to play. But again, there's so many better racing games out there now.
Yep.
And we are so much cult of the new. And just looking at my list, the oldest game on here would be the Red, White, and Blue Racing.
Mine would be Rum and Bones.
You know, the Lincoln game came out a year or two ago. The Transformers G.I. Joe was only a year or two. Vagrant Song, I believe was last year or the year before. Most Fearful Sacrifice was older. The reprint was just current, hasn't been delivered yet from Kickstarter as far as I know. So
I think 3 of mine came out last year. One hasn't come out yet. And then Rum and Bones.
yeah. So it does show our hobby is very much call to the new. And after a while, you know, if you haven't played it, just chalk it up. I'm not going to play it. Or you forget about it because 10 new games have come out and
Tweak the mechanic a bit. And,
yeah,
you know,
and you backed 15 things off Kickstarter.
Yep.
So, but again, what's on your list that you haven't played that you'd like to? Chalk Covered Games monthly melt segment voted for January of 2023. So Tim put a poll up online and got some feedback.
Yep. So for the month of January, our poll was at the beginning of the year. Many people call their collections to make room for new stuff to fill up their collection.
All right.
So that was the poll.
Yep.
We had 124 votes,
Okay.
and I'm just gonna go in order from. I'm not unlike other months where I would give you like these got 0% and
Yeah.
went upwards. I'm just working our way from down the list.
So from 100 down.
Yep.
Okay.
So I gave people 10 options, 100% all the way down to 0% in increments of 10. To try to help people figure out which way I was going, I gave each category a name. That way they knew.
Yeah.
So at 100% is new year, new collection. You got rid of your whole collection. I got one person that voted for this. Now I think this was a joke one, because like I said, one of the people in the comments says their house burnt down,
Yeah.
so all their games are gone. And I said, I can't tell you if they're lying or not. And you said, you hope they are, and I said, I hope they're not, because I don't want my poll to be taken as a joke. So I said, if I find this person, their house isn't burnt down, I'm taking some action.
Yeah. Let's hope it's not.
But we had one vote that says new year, new collection. Next percent was 90, and that was, I only kept my favorite game. So this would be a person that only kept like 2 games or 3
Yeah.
games. This got 0 votes. Then 80%, I only kept these ones because they're limited edition. Once again, 0 votes. 70%, how much did these ones cost? I figured at this point you're keeping the games that were really expensive,
Yeah.
limited edition in your favor. 0 votes.
Yeah, because who's going to get rid of 70% of their collection?
Well, maybe you only own like 6 games and you got rid of 4 of them. You know, you're thinking massive collection. Maybe
Yeah.
somebody has a little collection. You know, if you have one game and you gave it up,
Yeah.
that's 100% of your
That's
collection.
true.
Now, I don't know if one game counts as a collection. I'm not sure where a collection like number begins.
1.
60%. Why do I have 3 copies? Was the category. 0 votes. I thought, well, that's a dumb name, but then I remember seeing videos where people own 3 copies of a game.
Yeah.
And it boggles my mind. Owning 3 copies. I think I would give up at least one of those copies at that point.
Eh.
I mean, unless each copy was very different. Like, this was the first run. This was the collector's edition. This is an anniversary edition.
Yeah, but if it's
And they're
then
different.
they're different. But if it's like 3,
Of the same version?
Yeah.
Yeah.
or if they're all Monopoly and they're all different versions, there are people who have like 80 different versions,
But those are different Monopolies, because the boards are different.
but it plays the exact same.
Yeah.
It's the theme.
50% of your collection. I said, these ones are still on wrap. And you get rid of those ones.
Yeah.
0 people. 40%. Why do I have 2 copies? They're not as bad as the 3 copy people.
Yeah.
This one got 2 votes, actually. And these, I think one person might have put a comment, because the person said, I got rid of a good bit of my collection because they were moving.
That makes sense. If we ever have to move, we're getting rid of 100%.
You know, I didn't vote this time. I should have put like 80 and like, I was burgled. But they only left me my worst games.
Yeah.
Next up is 30%. And that was, these ones were gifts. 0 people.
Okay.
Now we start to get votes, because you realize we're running out of numbers here. We have about 122 people left to go.
Yeah.
20%, never going to play these ones again, got 39 votes.
Okay, so that makes sense. Yeah.
20%'s a fair number.
Well, 10 games, that's 2.
Yeah.
100 games, that's 20.
20.
You know, 200 games, that's 40.
Now, I wonder if I should have clarified on this vote. Like, does an expansion count as a game? Because I wouldn't consider it. Like, if you need the base game, I would consider that whole grouping one thing.
Yeah.
So that was 20% with 39 votes. Then 10%, the ones I hate, as I called them, got less votes. Had 29.
Huh.
So 10 less people. And then the biggest number, surprisingly, was 0%. Hands off my games.
I'm not surprised I got the biggest number.
With 53 people.
You know, I don't care if I have 6 copies of this game still in shrink.
Yeah.
I may need it 20 years from now.
If that's your retirement plan. I mean,
like Beanie Babies.
now I would question which ones. Like, if you have like 10 copies of the original, like Monopoly, that you can still get today,
Yeah.
not so much valuable. But if it's like some collector's edition, that might be.
Yeah, but what's Gloomhaven?
Mhm.
You have 10 things of Gloomhaven like 20 years from now. They're going to be so far past that, people are going to be like, yeah, what's this?
Well, at that point, it become retro. It's out of print, most likely,
I still don't think you're going to recoup enough money to...
because you at least paid $100 for it. So you at least have to get over $100 per unit.
And you won't. This hobby's too much cult of the new.
But yep, that was voted for the
Yep.
month of January. Like I said, not a big surprise. I thought I would have had a couple more higher numbers.
Yeah.
You know, I figure a lot of people, because I figure there's a lot of people that go through their collection and be like, okay, I can only have 30 games in my collection. At the beginning of the year, they're like, oh no, I have 93 games. I have to cut down 63 games.
Yeah.
And then by the end of the year, they're like, I have 141 games. I have to get rid of X amount of games again.
Yeah.
Like, they keep buying and they know they can only keep 30, which would be a weird thing. But that person might exist.
You?
We can only keep 7 games. About 31. Well, foolish me.
Yep.
But yeah, that was voted for the month of January. Let us know in the comments down below, how many games are you going to be calling? I'll give you a hint. Calling is not spelled the way you think it would be spelled.
C-U-E-L-L, right?
Something.
C-U-L-L.
Yeah.
Not C-A-L-L.
Yeah, I kept putting that down because I was trying to get...
How many games are you calling as in C-A-L-L? That's
like, hey, you game over there.
Yes.
But that was our poll, or voted,
Yep.
for this month. This is Backed.
All right.
Where I go over formerly backed projects. And we
That were crowdfunded.
Yep.
You just didn't back them at the store.
No. But this month we get to start off with the one with the Doug going, I want to have this one, where we ended last month with you hammering what one you wanted.
Which I never do.
This one got funded in April 12th, 2017
Okay.
by Green Couch Games. This
Okay. I think I know.
is a trick-taking game.
Ladder 29?
It is Ladder 29. Ladder 29 is a trick-taking game where there's multiple ways to take tricks based on the top 5 cards that you put out.
Yeah, there's 5 like different scoring cards. So
Which change through every time you play.
yeah, so it changes up how you want to get tricks, how many tricks you want to take. That tricks can only be played certain ways. It's a unique game. It's got a firefighting theme, which doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah, it's just slapped on there. It shows like a burning building with a ladder.
Yeah.
And then once you get 29 points, you win.
Yeah. But it's a fun trick-taking game.
Yep. I would say it's probably one, because Green. Do we own anything else by Green Couch?
I think Rocky Road Out
Loud is Green Couch, and
they do a lot of that size.
yeah, they're a small size game.
Yeah, they That is sort of my size game. Looking green couch games
While you're doing that, I'll move on to the next one.
because I think those might be the only two we have.
I think they only have like 6 games.
They have best treehouse ever. We've played that.
Yeah.
Oh, they do Jurassic Attack. Oh, Walk on Fire is supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
We own a Rocky Road Out mode. We played Outlaw.
Did we?
At Gen Con.
Oh yeah.
Ladder 29. Yeah. I mean, it's my size games.
Alright. That was Ladder 29. The
Yep.
next game we backed was April 14th, so 2 days later, 2017. This game was from Druid City Games,
Okay.
now owned by Skybound.
Skybound. They still put out amazing things.
We met James.
Yes, at Gen Con.
Con.
Cool dude.
This game is Grim Forest
That was our first game
of from that company,
from
Druid City.
Druid City. Yes.
They're known for their excellent production value.
Yes.
This was the one that really got people to notice them because
Yep.
they had one game before it, which was I forget what it was.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Barnyard something, I think.
Oh, yeah. We played that.
Yeah.
Uh,
But, that was before they took the big leap forward to make a more productive value thing, really push forward. I would say Grim Forest is fun. We have played it. I think we need more people. I think this
Yeah.
is one that would really play well at 3 or 4.
yeah.
They recently released Wonderland War, which got
Ooh.
a lot of hype.
Yeah.
I don't think I would like it. Just
Barnyard Roundup.
Yeah. I don't think I would like what Wonderland War. I'm just not a big Alice in Wonderland
Yeah, but I
fan.
don't know if you have to be.
I mean, they say it's very thematic. I don't care about the Jabberwockies or the mayor.
Yeah. We own 2 other games by them.
We own Dice.
Tidal Blades,
yeah.
which we haven't played yet, though we've owned it.
Yeah.
And Sorcerer City.
Yeah, which is great production on Sorcerer City.
Yeah, and it's a fun game. I really like Sorcerer City.
Yeah.
But yeah, Druid City Games, excellent quality games. Grim Masquerade. I wish we would have got that. That looks cool too. But yeah, Grim Forest, great production. We need to get that out and play it again sometime. And I thought that was going to be the game you'd start painting,
Maybe.
and you never got around to actually painting. You bought painting stuff, but you never started painting.
I've started painting.
Oh, you did Onitama.
I paint that. I've started painting. What you call it? Mechs versus Minion.
I've only ever played the beginning scenario with that. That was at Gen Con.
And the last game for this month that I've backed was backed on or funded on April 12th or April 22, 2017.
All right.
This is a Button Shy game. I think this is the first time Button Shy makes an appearance on our list.
Okay.
So this is our first Button Shy. You remember what that is?
Oh, we have so many.
That'd be
Oh, is Circle the Wagons?
Circle the Wagons. Circle the Wagons is a fun game where you place out the cards in a circle.
Yep.
Each player gets 1 card that tells them what they're trying to do.
Yep. Their scoring condition.
And then on your turn, you get to go. There's a starting area. You can go up to 3 spaces. But whatever cards you don't take, the other person gets.
Yep.
And you're making your own little homestead to try to make your things like most mountain ranges
Yep.
or 3 cattle in a row, stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, and I think Circle the Wagons is still probably one of the top 5 games from them.
Hey.
No. We did our top 5, and it did make my top 5.
I thought you meant like from them, like that they've actually
Oh,
produced.
yeah. Yeah, but yeah, Button Shy just love their stuff. And they're sort of local to us.
Yeah.
They're one state over.
Well, we're on the closer side of that state.
Yeah.
But yeah, Circle the Wagon, great production. It came with more than 18 cards. 'Cause
Yep.
it didn't come with many more. It came with like 10 more because
Yeah.
it came with like the Lonely Cowboy where you can play
Yeah.
solo.
Yeah.
But that was the beginning and the end of their 18 cards where everything now comes with 70 cards.
Yeah.
Or roughly the size of the big old
Though
box.
you can get just the base.
You can play the games just the base, but now most of them come in the size box of the big old box of storage of Everdale.
Yeah.
And they're like, wall side game. Whoosh. and you're like, oh, I got the whole set.
Yeah.
18 cards plus 64 miniatures
Yeah.
and 2 game boards. But yeah,
Just wait till that is a storage solution for all their wallet games.
a suitcase.
Yeah.
It probably would be. Well, no, it would be a suitcase that fits their bags.
Yes.
They're
So you keep
you keep all those in your haul bags, and you put your bags into a suitcase.
Yes.
And then next would be, I guess, one of
Duffel
those.
bag.
Well, I was gonna say like those
Foot
chest.
Locker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it just gets more and more. But yeah, those were the 3 games for this month for Backed.
Did you back any of them?
Have you played or heard of any of them?
Yes.
I think this they'll probably have heard of 2. I don't know
Yeah.
if they've heard of Ladder 29.
Yep.
That was probably the smallest one on our list here. But like I said, not too long ago, 2017. That's 6 years now
Yeah.
removed. So, and this is our off-topic segment for the
Alright.
month of January, and I've got to choose our off-topic. When I think of January, in where we live, I think of the farm show.
Okay.
This is not about the farm show.
Oh,
For people who don't know, the farm show is basically our state fair,
correct.
because we like to get our fair out of the way the second week of the year, in the middle of winter, unlike every other state that does their fair in the middle of summer.
Well, that's because we have such a thriving,
Agricultural.
fair industry
Yeah,
in the state of Pennsylvania. We have so many county and local fairs throughout the summer.
yeah.
And then for those that don't know, if you win, especially, well, there is some baking contests and some other contests that you win at your local
Fairs.
fair that qualify you for the farm show.
Yeah.
But the farm show also has categories that you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
I've entered it the farm show before.
Yeah. But our fair takes place in the middle of January. We're in cold buildings surrounded by animals, which is fine.
It's not cold.
Some spots are.
No,
But-
I wore
I mean, there's enough people in
I
the
wore a sweatshirt and I was fine this year. And I
But-
walked 8 miles.
But when I think about the farm show, I think about Pennsylvania.
Okay.
I,
Are you quizzing me?
I am.
Oh boy.
This is like the old TV,
Pennsylvania game.
the Pennsylvania.
Yes.
I wish that still existed.
So do I.
It was one of my favorite.
Our cousin was on that game show.
She was. I think that was PBS.
Yes.
That's the Pennsylvania
Yes.
game show. But
Oh,
this is my version of the Pennsylvania game show.
oh boy.
All the answers have
I'm
to
going to look terrible.
I think you'll do better than what you think. These are only 10 questions
Okay.
that involve something about our state.
Okay.
These are all answers you probably know. I
I
think.
was hoping they were all yes/no answers.
No? Alright, so I already told you it's 10 questions.
Okay. How
How
many
many-
questions is the thing? 10.
How many do you think you'll get right? That's not one of the questions, but I'll have 10.
Knowing you've looked up very odd things, very abstract things. So, and I do know a lot about our state, though.
True. And you live with me, so I've probably told you these things at least once before, if you were listening to me.
Yeah, but still, you find the most obscure things. I'd love to say 10.
Remember, 60 would be passing in school.
And that's I was going for 6. I was gonna say 6 or 7.
Alright?
So I'm gonna go 6.
You're gonna go 6?
Yeah.
Alright.
That way, because I'm guessing you're not gonna be like, what's the state, animal?
Cross that one off. What was Hershey named after? No. Alright. Question number 1.
All right.
The world changed forever when Colonel Edward Drake did this in Titusville.
The first oil well.
Purposely dug for the first oil well.
Yes.
So there you go. You got one. Wish I had a little bell.
Whew.
I might add a bell sound just for you. Well, no, I mean like ding. Like,
Yeah, I know. Whew.
So there you go.
I'm like literally worried about this.
But that was a fun fact. I didn't know that one.
Don't only like 5 people watch this.
But yeah, you can apparently visit it.
Yes.
It's still there.
Yes.
It's very. I don't know where Titusville is.
Towards Erie.
Okay, so that's probably why I've never been there.
Yeah. It's north of 80. It's between Interstate 80 and Erie.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, that's an area of the state that I have not been to that I'd like to go to.
All right. Question number 2.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to keep track here.
Question dos.
Okay.
All in Spanish.
Oh, boy.
Uno de, I don't know. I couldn't. Because I don't know. I guess Pennsylvania would still just be the word Pennsylvania in Spanish.
Yeah.
How many towns are in Pennsylvania?
How many towns?
Towns are in Pennsylvania.
1.
Correct. Extra credit if you can name the only town.
Bloomsburg.
It is.
Yes! I knew that.
Bloomsburg is the only town in Pennsylvania. Everything else is a city, a borough, or a township.
Yes.
Yep.
Are you surprised I knew that?
It's the only one that qualifies as a town.
Yep.
So.
And it's called Bloomsburg.
Yeah.
It's not even
yeah.
Bloomstown.
Yeah.
Are you surprised I knew that?
I think you've heard that before.
I have.
A couple times.
Yep. I'm probably the person that told you that.
Maybe. Alright, so now you're 2 for 2. Question the third.
Okay.
The song Winter Wonderland was written about this place in Pennsylvania.
Do I get a hint? Is it a city, town?
It's a place in the town. You can either give me the town that the place is at or the place itself. I'll accept both.
Well, now it makes me rethink where I was thinking. Winter Wonderland. So the walking around in a Winter Wonderland.
Yeah, that's long.
So now I'm thinking 2 places. And they're at opposite sides of the state.
I could not tell you what side of the state this is on.
Okay, well then that
doesn't help you at all because I don't know many things around it. It's like I know Juniata's near us, but I couldn't tell you a single place. I was gonna say town, a single place in Juniata.
Okay, so that takes away the big store in Philly,
Okay.
Latrobe.
Okay.
That's my guess. Latrobe.
Oh, Latrobe.
Yeah.
Oh, no. The answer. What was your other guess that you had in your
Philly. There's a huge store in Philly that has a massive organ. I think it was I don't remember the name of it.
Well, it's not named after. Well, the song's not about a store at all.
Well, I know.
The song is about Central Park in Honesdale.
Really?
Yep. The guy apparently lived in Honesdale or near Honesdale.
You have been there.
Have I?
Multiple times.
Doesn't ring a bell.
That's where our aunt lives.
Yeah.
Or lived.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, apparently that park was so
And I should have known that. And now you say that, yes, I did know that.
Yep. Apparently that park was so fancy it has a song that plays on the radio every year.
Yes. Yes. So that is Wayne County.
Mm-hmm.
That is on the border of us and Jersey.
Yeah.
You've been there.
Well, I still stand by my fact. I don't know where it's at, even though I've been there.
That's true.
Yeah. Being there doesn't mean nothing to me.
Well, that's true. Yes. Man.
So you're
2 for 3.
Number 4. The oldest continuous use golf course in the U.S. can be found here in Pennsylvania. Name the course.
I'm only thinking 1, but I don't think it's right.
I would hope you only be thinking 1. It is the oldest continuous.
Yeah, but it's on. It's. Oh, the one I'm thinking of isn't. I don't think it's right. The one I'm thinking of is down towards Philly. It uses baskets instead of flags. I don't know the name of it. So I'm going to say the other one, which is probably wrong. Oakmont.
No. Now this place does go by blank country club.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't say it doesn't.
Oh, as soon as you tell me, I'm going to know because I just watched something, I believe, on this.
So you're sticking with
Oakmont's the only thing I can think of, but yeah, go ahead.
It is Foxburg Country Club
Yes,
in Clarion County.
yes. I watched something on this like 3 weeks ago,
All right.
and it's not the club I was thinking of with the baskets.
Now Clarion is south of us.
No, Clarion is
Northwest of us?
yes.
Hey, look,
it's
I
where
got-
Clarion University is. It's right on I-80, out past Dad.
Thank God you're not giving me the quiz.
Go northwest of Dad.
Question
You were too Clarion. We went and
Doesn't-
looked at a college there.
doesn't mean a thing to me.
That was the KFC with the actual Colonel Sanders statue.
Hey, you can tell me to drive to Dad's right now. I'll never find it. I'll get
Do you
there.
remember the KFC with the Colonel Sanders statue?
Not really.
Well, you would have been like 6th grade.
You gotta remember, I suffered a lot of head damage. I've had a 4-wheeler run over my head. I used to hustle kids out of dollars at school by saying I can't be concussed by banging my head against walls. Made a lot of dollars that way. A lot of brains.
So yeah, I'm two for 4.
Alright.
I should have went with 5.
Question 6. PA, or Pennsylvania, is the only original colony not to do what?
Not to do what?
I might be able to phrase it better because I think that's going to throw you off. Pennsylvania is the only original colony not to have this in common with the other original colonies.
I
Well, what are the original colonies?
Vermont, New Hampshire, New York, Massachusetts, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Virginia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia. Who am I missing?
Well, you've added one by mistake,
Yeah.
and you skipped Delaware.
Oh yeah, Delaware. Who did I hit by mistake? Vermont.
Yeah, Vermont wasn't one of them. They didn't exist. Well, they did, but I think the French owned them.
Oh, okay.
We had New Hampshire.
Yeah. Who else did I forget?
New Hampshire, New York, Pennsylvania, because I don't think you said us. New
Yeah.
Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, North Dakota,
North Dakota,
North Carolina, South Carolina,
Georgia.
Georgia. That's all of them.
So I just added one,
Yeah.
and I forgot Delaware.
Yep.
I added
You added
Vermont. And
Vermont.
I forgot Delaware.
Yep.
Forgot the first state. And what did they all have in common that we?
We do not with them. This fact holds true today yet.
Holds true today?
Yep. We still don't have this in common with them.
I was going to say have a coastline, but New Hampshire doesn't have one. Georgia doesn't have one. Yeah, it does. I'm going to say have a coastline. No, because New Hampshire doesn't.
Is that your answer?
Yeah.
I'll accept it. It has a border, is bordered by the Atlantic Ocean.
Okay.
We do not have the Atlantic Ocean bordering us at any point. New Hampshire has a little bit. Like if Vermont was one of the original ones.
Did you look this out? Is this an actual fact?
This
Looked
is a
up?
fact.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Huh.
Yeah, we do not border the Atlantic.
Huh.
All the other ones touch the Atlantic. New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, New
Now I gotta look
York.
this up. Does New Hampshire touch the Atlantic Ocean? 18 miles of shoreline.
Yeah,
I'll be darned.
It barely does, but it does.
Huh.
So you got another one right.
Whew. That one took some doing.
All right. This one's an easy one. You'll get this one the second I read it. What does Pennsylvania have in common with the followings? Kentucky, Massachusetts, and Virginia. We are the only ones that
Commonwealth.
We are commonwealths. We are all.
I had to think of Kentucky there.
We are all.
Massachusetts is a Commonwealth?
Massachusetts and Kentucky and Virginia are all commonwealths.
What states are Commonwealths? I'll be darned. Huh.
I looked up what the difference between commonwealth and a state is.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot. Originally, commonwealths were legally allowed to govern themselves and be governed. Like, all states now have their own government. But, like, we were, like, the first one because we were extra nerdy. We're like, no, we want more government, please.
Yep.
This next one, I don't think you have a chance in the world to get this one. Though you might, because you like to look up events.
Okay.
Question 8. This war takes place every year in Butler County.
This war takes place every year in Butler?
Yep. I'll even give you a couple hints to this one. When it exists, it becomes like the 4th largest town there is.
This war. Like WAR.
Yeah. They set up their own post office during this war. It takes up 17 days every year.
For a second, I was thinking the world's longest yard sale.
Nope. This is a 17-day war that happens every year in Butler. They set up their own post office, their own government.
I've never been to Butler, but I've always wanted to go to the Big Butler Fair.
Yeah.
And you can't call it the Butler Fair. You have to call it the Big Butler Fair.
Nope. If we ever go to Butler, we're going to do this for 17 days.
So it isn't the Big Butler Fair?
Nope.
Okay.
No one says, let's go to the Big Butler Fair. It's a war.
They might. Maybe the Clarion County Fair does.
This event brings in the most money to the county every year. In fact, the year that it only missed 1 year due to the pandemic, and they had fundraisers to help out the county because they knew how big this event was to help the local area.
I was gonna say the War of the Roses, but that's between Lancaster and York.
Nope, it's not that. Be very weird if it was. Another hint. It is not a historical war. It never happened.
Well, I take that.
Well, there's historical reenactments.
There's a big baseball tournament in Butler.
This is a war, though.
Well, that maybe they call it the war or something. It was a college baseball tournament. Blank War?
Blank War.
Car Wars?
Nope.
I don't know. I don't know.
The Pensic War. Pensic War.
I have no idea.
It is essentially... I don't want to call it LARP because they don't call it LARP, but it's LARPing.
Yeah, okay.
It's a 17-day people pretending to war.
Huh. In Butler.
In Butler.
I'll have to look that one up.
Apparently they average a little over 10,000.
Okay.
So they have 10,000 people camped out in Butler, warring.
Okay.
They set up their own government. They have a postal system, everything.
Huh.
It's very impressive. I watched a couple videos about it.
Not doing well here.
So what, you need the last two?
Well, I've got 4 and I missed 3.
Yeah. So we're at question number 9.
Well, no, I've got 4 and I missed 3, so that's 7.
You must have skipped one on your thing there. Did you scratch off a note for this one?
Yeah.
Because we did the oil one.
Yep.
We did Bloomsburg.
Yep.
We did Central Park.
Yep.
We did the golf course.
Yep.
We did the ocean.
Yep.
We did the Commonwealth. And then we did the Pensic War.
Okay, so I did miss one. I missed getting one. Missed marking one right.
Yeah. Number 9.
Okay.
And this will say a lot about you, more than the question.
Oh no.
How many presidents have come from PA?
1.
Is that your final answer?
Buchanan. President of what? The U.S.?
Of the United States.
Buchanan. So I'm born here.
Is he?
Yes.
Who's our current president?
Biden, yes, was born in the Scranton area.
Yep. Now, I will give it to you. I will say one, because apparently Biden is not being recognized as a Pennsylvania president. He's being recognized as
Delaware.
Even though he lived here for 10 years of his life at the very beginning.
Yes, he was born in Scranton.
Right.
But billed from Pennsylvania, it is Buchanan.
I have, under answer, I have 1, question mark, 2?
Yes.
I would accept it either. I was just seeing how you would have described the newest president currently.
Delaware, because that's where they mark him from.
Yeah.
Though, yes, he was born up in the Scranton area.
I would say 2, because I would say, oh, he was born in Pennsylvania. Just like people are like, oh, Taylor Swift is from Pennsylvania, even though she was only here for 16 years.
Yeah, I mean, well, most of her life she was from Pennsylvania.
Well, most of Joe Biden's life, what's he, like 20?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's weird. So the Buchanan, if you've never been to the Buchanan birthplace, it's just like a stack, a pyramid of like rock.
Yeah. I was thinking at the time.
So I've never been to the Buchanan to Wheatfield, the Buchanan homestead in Lancaster. Never been there. It's only like 30 miles away. I do need to go there.
I will still argue that he was our greatest president ever.
Because he did nothing? Or because he gambled away everything?
Well, both. But he learned not to rock the boat. He was the perfect president. He's like, I don't want to have war happen. I'll do nothing. And people are like, well, this guy's an idiot. He didn't want war. So he gets labeled as the worst. Followed by the next guy who screws it all up and creates war. And they're like, this guy's a genius. Look at him. He's having us have war. Very conflicting America.
Well, Buchanan gets labeled as our worst president because he didn't do anything. And it's specifically because he didn't do anything. Not just for not leading us down the path that he did, but just he didn't do anything in general.
Yeah.
I
listened to a fun biography about James Buchanan through Audible. He kind of got elected president out of spite from everybody.
Yeah.
Because no one wanted him, and like, this guy, no one wants him. It's like, well, I don't want him either. It's like, I guess we'll make him president. But it was the weirdest thing.
He really didn't want to be president to begin with.
No, he hated it.
But he did gamble away the
hey, you might as well, China. If you're gonna be stuck in a position you don't want, you might as well have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, he hated it. Americans hated it. Everybody that voted for him. It was like the weirdest thing that happened in American history.
Yeah.
James Buchanan.
Unfortunately, yes, that is something we are riddled with the right now.
I wouldn't say riddled with.
Well,
no one's like, man, Pennsylvania would be great, but they had James Buchanan.
Some people think that way.
We named a school after him.
Look where that school is.
Well, yeah.
It's by his birthplace, though.
Yeah.
And they're not even like the James Buchanan presidents or anything.
No.
They're the James Buchanan Rockets.
That's what you go with. But that's the only one right for you.
Yeah.
All right.
So far.
Now this one you should get.
What did I say? I was going to get 6. So if I get this, I'll get 7.
Yep. Now this one you should get. If you don't get it, not only will I be disappointed in you,
no.
You'll be disappointed in you, and the 2 people watching this will also be disappointed in you.
All right.
And they will put in the comment, sir, we are disappointed in you.
All right. The heat's on.
Now, you know what a cryptic is?
No.
Alright, well, that's going to really make this tough for you to answer that. I'll explain what a cryptic is. Bigfoot. He's a cryptic.
Okay.
You know, the New Jersey Devil is a cryptic. You know, those things.
Yes. So things that are real. That people believe are imaginary.
Zoologists think could exist, but yet to prove, is I think the technicalness of it.
All right. So the answer is all hope in me getting this right.
Yes. I think you will, because this is pretty big in our state. Like, this is something you learn in elementary school.
Okay.
In fact, this is where I know this fact from.
Oh, no.
This said cryptic lives in the forests of the northeastern part of the state of Pennsylvania. This is our cryptic. It, doesn't leave the state. You should know this one. This one's on you if you don't know it. Would you like me to give you some features of this cryptic? Would that help?
Wait.
Many Pennsylvania lumberjacks have told tales of this one.
Many Pennsylvania lumberjacks?
It is a creature said to have misfitting skin that is wrinkly and covered in warts.
What?
It is so self-aware of how ugly it is, it never stops crying out of how ugly it is. It refuses to look in water to see its reflection. It only travels by night. What other hints can I give you? If you were to corner it to see it, it will dissolve into tears because it feels so sad for you for having to gaze upon it. It destroys itself and then reappears somewhere else.
At first, I was gonna say the Mothman.
Nope, that's.
But that's like West Virginia.
Yeah. This creature is ashamed of its looks and will destroy itself by crying to death, so you don't have to gaze upon it.
Is it? Oh, the shadow guy.
Not the shadow guy. It's not a human at all. I literally told you creature.
Yeah, but the thing that's got long looking hands and looks like a shadow.
No. Nope. They say at night the lumberjacks would hear it crying in the woods, and they would know it's around, and they would hunt for it because they could follow the.
Why do you think I should know this?
This is a great Pennsylvania cryptic. When you were in school, didn't you have a whole segment of cryptids?
No.
We did growing up. That's how we learned about Bigfoot and the Mothman and the Devil and the.
It's not the New Jersey Devil.
Well, the New Jersey Devil.
The Tasmanian Devil.
Like the Thunderbird out west and whatnot.
It's not the Jackalope.
Nope. It's very famous. There's T-shirts that says I saw the blank, and it exploded into tears.
I don't know what you're talking.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a story you tell camper kids. It's because nowadays you get
left-handed smoke shifters.
You know, if you tell it to kids nowadays, they'll get killed by a bobcat because they're gonna be listening to something that sounds like a crying kid. But it's not that. It's this, kids. Don't gaze upon it. It'll feel shame and die from sadness.
I've never heard this in my life.
I am ashamed of you. Comments put shame, big capital letters. You want to take a wild guess?
The Blair Witch.
That was New Jersey. We're not New Jersey. That was Maryland. And those kids deserve to die. And maybe this will help you.
The Philadelphia Phantom.
No, this might help you out because it cries so much it creates little rivers and whatnot in the northeast area of Pennsylvania. Think about that area. Now think how they talk. How would they say, something's ugly and be point at something. Go hey mom, look over there, there's a... And then blank.
Are they Cajun?
Well, maybe. I'm assuming the northeast Pennsylvania is Cajun country. Hey mom, look over there, there's a... Don't go, no, blank. Run away. I'm gonna chase and make it cry to death. Yeah. I mean, if you're a mean child, you're gonna make this thing cry to death and you feel sad. But the plus side, you get to see something literally turn into tears and just become a pond.
Oh, so I'm thinking the Mount Carmel area. Coal?
Yep, there goes the coal.
Does it have to deal with coal?
No.
The Shamokin area? Whistler?
The northeast, the Hemlock
Something
Forest.
coal miner?
No, remember, lumberjacks.
No.
It doesn't go into caves. It
When
travels.
I think northeast Pennsylvania, I think coal mining. I don't think lumberjack.
Travels at night. It avoids its reflection. constantly crying, thinking, I'm so ugly, God help me, why? But, just crying because it can't speak. It'd be weird if it could speak.
The Ashland Strangler.
So close.
Frackville, the Frackville 4.
It's just the blank. It's not named after a town.
Okay. The Lumberjack.
I'll take that as your final guess.
Yes, I give up.
Alright. The answer that all Pennsylvanians know is the squonk.
What?
Squonk. Look over there, Mom, there goes a squonk. See, it just rolls off the tongue when hey kids, here comes the squonk. And the kids run out. I'm assuming you want the spelling of squonk.
Yes.
The squonk. S-Q-U-O-N-K. Squonk.
Okay, Squonk. Mythological creature that's born to live in the hemlock forest in northern Pennsylvania. I've never heard this.
I can't believe you never heard of this one. It goes around, it cries, it goes, ooh, I'm ugly. Don't look at me. I love you people. I'm just going to live in the woods. And somebody comes across it. It's like, oh, I'm sorry you looking at me. I'm going to squonk away. And it just, dies of tears.
The earliest account of the Squonk was from the 1910 book, Fearsome Creatures of the Lumberwoods.
Yep.
There's no records of tale being told in Pennsylvania before the book's publication. I've never heard of this.
Classic squonk behavior. It just shows we're a polite state. We don't go around bragging about our ugly beast because it doesn't want to be seen. Otherwise, people be coming here left and right to go see the squonk and be dying to tears left and right.
Oh my goodness.
Classic squonks.
I'm going to have to do some looking up at this.
But you got 7 out of 10. I was a little disappointed in some that you got wrong.
Like which one? The Squonk?
The squonk was the big one. The second one was, the 17-day war that takes place in our state every year. I mean, if there's a war taking place in your backyard every year, you should know about it.
Nope.
And I'll give you a pass on Winter Wonderland because that took place way back when.
So, yes, did you get all 10?
You,
If you got the Squonk,
oh, everybody got the squonk.
let me know.
It's as famous as Bigfoot.
Am I not now a true Pennsylvanian because I didn't know the Squonk?
Yeah.
Let me know. And with that, do hit the thumbs up, like, share, subscribe if you want to see more Squonk content.
Yeah. But with that, as always, stay sweet.